Welcome to the last segment of our conversation with Barbara, who's telling us all about her experience with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, a subtype of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Now, she's just gotten done sharing her experience going through CAR T-cell therapy and radiation therapy. Now, she brings us to the next treatment decision after scans showed the cancer was still there. And we start with learning the results of a positive PET scan.
I wasn't too surprised. I just thought, well, I've been through all these things. It just seemed, and then I'm sort of like got the impression this is at a simmer. Let's just try to keep everything at a simmer. It's, the whole attitude of my oncologist, my daughter-in-law, who's an oncology nurse, and the realization that possibly that's all they can do. So, and that's okay, we'll just see. But, I'm on and they did a PET scan after the biopsy. Actually, I got that PET scan result from my radiation oncologist, because I had a Zoom meeting set up with her for, I don't know, like a month after my radiation. And we had both got the report at the same time, sort of. It was on my chart. She had just seen it. So she told me that actually there were multiple spots all through my abdomen of positive lymph. Not large, I don't feel anything. And that's when my oncologist gave me some options for further treatment. And one of them was a study drug.
Can you describe the different options your oncologist offered?
Well, one of the options was a repeat CAR T. He says it's not like the original CAR T, but. And then he offered me the study drug that he did. I think there was one other, I can't even remember it. But the CAR T, I just didn't feel like my husband and I had the strength to go through all that again, rent another apartment. And, so we decided together we'll try the study drug. And my oncologist said he was guardingly optimistic. So, that's better than I'm sorry, I can't offer you anything.
We won't go into the details of the actual study drug because you're still in it. But I know that you're talking about a combination, you said, of taking pills as well as infusions. Is that right?
Yeah, there's 7 chemotherapies once a month. And I'm going to have my second one on Monday. There's lots of blood drawing for the study, like timed blood draws. There's a lot of things that aren't really the therapeutic side of the treatment, but more the study side, which I'm willing to do.
I'm sorry to interject, but when you say it's more of the study side as opposed to the therapeutic, what do you mean by that?
The blood draws. The blood draws are tests that the study needs to do, after I take my pill, after the chemotherapies, that sort of thing. I do get blood tests that they monitor my red cells, that my oncologist sees my chemistry test, my kidney, liver function, all that. My doctor keeps tabs on that, but the rest of the blood tests go to the study. And then the daily pill taking. So once a month chemotherapy, and then you take a pill every day. You have to fast 2 hours before the pill and 1 hour after.
Okay. And I know with clinical trials, a lot of times it's very heavily, closely monitored.
Right.
Um, how has that been for you? I guess, following, you've had experience with CAR T, and now you've just started on this study, but you have some experience there. Given that you know now what it's like, what are your thoughts, I guess, comparing the two? Do you wish you had done CAR T again, or what are the pros and cons?
No, I don't really wish I had done CAR T again. I just, this gives me more freedom, the pill every day, the once a month um, chemotherapy, for it'll be like 6 months or 7 months. Um, so I need freedom in my life right now. You know, I just need to not be so tied down to cancer. And I feel like hopefully, I mean, it could work, but if it doesn't, at least I got, you know, some freedom to live a life. It's really hard when you're just tied to a cancer center constantly. And it takes a toll on my husband, with all the driving and the waiting. And, I mean, we're in our 70s. It's not like, I'd have a completely different attitude if I was 20s or 30s. But, and I feel like whatever happens, happens. So it's been kind of a long haul, but I'm just hoping that maybe my experience is like a handbook to somebody else. Um, None of the procedures they do are, I don't think, really painful. So um, I'm trying to think. Other than, I got a blood infection from the port, and when they took that out, that was, I hate to say, but that was painful. But it was because it was so infected in that area. But all the other procedures I had really didn't have a problem.
Yeah, that's good to know. By the way, I had an infected port too that they had to remove, and it was like an open wound.
I had to have wound therapy for weeks and, IVs and all that. But, you just get through that kind of side effect. So
And speaking of side effects, I know the major one that you have now is extreme fatigue, and I would really love,
extreme
Barbara,
fatigue.
yeah, for you to talk
Yes.
about that.
And I'm having a hard time with that because I just feel like I'm kind of a shell of myself. You know, it's like I make myself, I have a greenhouse. I walk out there, I've planted seeds, but I have a chair out there I sit in. It's just not who I am. That's the problem. It's not who I am. And I just trying to cope with the fatigue. And hopefully my red blood cell count's low, they said, from the chemotherapy. And I'm hoping they can help some way to give me a little more energy. It's like, I just, and I push myself. I mean, I really do, because otherwise, I think if you just didn't push yourself, you would be like just in bed all day. I can't do that. So, um, and I feel better when I push myself, and then I take a nap, you know. But yeah, it's springtime here, and so, that helps. Everything's blooming and growing.
Your green thumb. It's good to
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So the garden helps my spirits.
And you have to find that, right? I really appreciate you, Barbara, for explaining the fatigue, because again, I think a lot of people, they don't understand the extreme version of what that fatigue is that's constantly plaguing you when you're dealing with it day in and day out, and what that can do to you. So you were saying you don't feel like yourself, you're a shell of yourself, And it's not a good quality of life because it's just not who you are.
Right,
And I
right.
appreciate you highlighting that you need to, and I've heard this from other people too, it's so hard to move when you're so tired.
Even though I can't, take a walk like I used to, even if I walk around the yard, it's like I've done something. I've looked at something that made me feel good. Um, but and I try to do. We did hire a housekeeper because I when you can't keep your own house up, and my husband's doing everything, so we decided that there's things we need to do to make our lives easier.
It can be hard to let that go, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And wrapping this up, Barbara, now I just want to know, like, how are you, um, not just feeling physically now? I know you're doing the best you can and the garden is helping a lot. And I can tell you're very even keeled and, but how are you in terms of just thinking about, this, next year? And, I know you said that as long as you have that quality of life and you're making decisions for that, it feels better. But is there anything else you can share about that?
Um, I guess you just want to make the best out of everything, no matter what it is. And at some point, we all have to face the inevitable, but just that the life you led is the best one you could have done, even if you were sick, at the end. But um, I have a lot of inspiration, my grandkids and yeah, my husband. But there's sad times. There's really sad times.
How do you get through those sad times?
Um, my husband tells me to quit crying. And there's always humor in life. You know what I mean? So that's what gets you through is laughing or looking at, something that seems silly. And I'm going to get a cat. I think I'm going to get a cat. Yeah. We haven't had a cat for a while and I decided I wanted one again.
Awesome. You have like a name in mind already, or it's one that's going to happen when you
No,
meet the cat?
yeah, they kind of name themselves. I don't know. We haven't looked yet, but I'm going to do it.
Well, Barbara, I really, again, I appreciate all this time you spent with us today to share your story to help other people. And I want you to know that your voice will definitely impact so many people out there. And so thank
I
you.
hope so. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes. And I'm so excited to get your story up for so many people to see.
And I really enjoy those Instagram posts. And
Mm.
and that's what brought me to you is because just to see all the, you know, different journeys everybody has to make.
Well, I'm so glad you did find us. And, we'll stay in touch and I'll let you know when your story's up. But for everybody who wants to see Barbara's full story, please head to thepatientstory.com where you'll find human answers to your cancer questions.